Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. We are the Hit Squad. And I tell you what, I know we're at the mothership here with ESPN, but my hat's off to Fox and what they're doing with the free UFC fights. As a fight fan, you got to love that.
Absolutely, and you got to love that what they're doing is giving the best MMA promotion in the country, in the UFC,
oh,
in the world, I should say.
Absolutely.
And it's only going to continue to get better. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to continue for our station to only start to give us some more MMA, hopefully.
Over the past weekend, they really kicked off Fox Sports 1's MMA. I don't even know what they called it, but it was their #1. And I tell you what, they had a great fight card. Chael Sonnen, Alvistar Overeem, Uriah Faber, Matt Brown, Uriah Hall. Those are all pretty
They came out with a
names.
bang.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
came out with a bang.
And I tell you what, and it's a guy we had just kind of touched on him. Uriah Hall taking on John Howard. Now, that one went split decision, and it did not go in Hall's favor. And I wanted to get into this. Now, why do you think Dana White said that? Is he, about Uriah Hall not being a fighter? Is he kind of stirring the bee's nest, so to speak, trying to get a reaction, or do you think he really believes he's not?
No, I think he actually really believes it. I really do believe that you're right. He thinks that about Uriah, because Uriah does have that aura about him. He's a really nice guy on and off camera, but he's just he's not a mean-spirited guy, hopefully, but Dana's a smart guy. He might be lighting a little fire in his butt to say, hey, listen, you know what? Either you're going to get your stuff together or you're going to be shipped out. We love you as a person, but as a fighter, I can't do anything for you here.
Well, it's got to be a little frustrating for him, because here's this physical specimen. He's seen the knockouts, the glory and all that. So I think he sees, wow, this could be a star. But then you take a look at his last 2 fights. He's got 2 losses, and you begin to scratch your head and think,
wow. These last 2 losses, if you look at it, man, he's a guy that
Kelvin Gastelum.
They got right in his face, kept him guessing, right in his face, and you never know. So I think that's going to be, that's his downfall. He needs to go work on his weaknesses and someone getting in or mental weakness, and then also someone getting in his face. And, here's the thing about Uriah Hall is he's actually not a bad wrestler. I watched him, and he guy can wrestle a little bit. So he needs to quit worrying about it when the guy gets in his face and getting taken down. Worry about getting off your back and getting back to your feet where you belong.
For John Howard, is this something that puts him on the map? Is he back for a little while?
Oh, man, everyone wants to fight Uriah right now. He's got a big name coming out, and he does a lot for his career. I think John Howard's going to have to – he was a guy that came in with a lot of steam, and now he's got to get back to – where he was, and he had a big name coming in. He was going to be something, and now he's back to where he belongs. So hopefully, yes, this is going to get him a good fight probably coming up after this.
How long does Matt Brown have to wait for his title? Is there anyone hotter?
How long is Matt Brown going to continue to prove me wrong? I've picked against the guy the last probably 4 or 5 fights. Matt Brown, prove me wrong again. I keep picking against the guy, pick against the guy. The guy, man, you know what? You got to give him what he deserves.
Oh.
Give him a good fight.
Absolutely.
I really do believe you got to give the guy a fight that I would love to see him fight a Robbie Lawler. I really would. I'd love to see him fight Jake Ellenberger. There's a fight for you. You know what? There's going to put you on the map. And those are the names that get your way back up there. Matt Brown, continue to do what you're doing.
Man, he's on his way.
He's on his way, and hopefully next fight I can pick him and get him once for right.
I want him to fight on the whole card, and I'll pick him, and you can go against him the whole time. Because I'm 28 and 24. I'm getting close to that 500. You're 37 and 15. We both went 2 and 3. We both had Uriah Hall. I had Matt Brown, and you went with Mike Pyle. Uriah Faber continues. I'm very impressed with him.
He continues to prove that he is a contender. And you know what? You got to give the guy a title shot here sooner than later. Sooner than later, for sure.
I agree.
I tell you what, and Uriah Hall, man, or Uriah Faber, I got to tell you something, man. You reinvented yourself. I'm glad you stuck to fighting instead of going back to all your other businesses. Your other businesses are going to be there. You're a smart, successful guy. Take a last run at this and go for it, Uriah.
What's his age?
I don't know. I think he's like 32, 33.
He's right kind of up there where he's definitely,
That's a guess. Hopefully we can get our producer, Kevin Fowler, to give us.
We'll get that. We'll have that for you next segment, guaranteed. Alvistar Overeem and Travis Brown. Now, this is when I sat down and started watching the fights. I got home a little late, and I tell you what, Overeem came out great, but my hat is off to the ref.
Oh, he did a great job.
Great job.
He did a great job in a couple of the fights.
Yeah, and it's hard to, you don't really hear the refs get praised, but that was one of those situations, and I always pull for it. When something like that happens, you think, this fight's going to get stopped. And Overeem came out, and he had Travis Brown down. And it was, I mean, he was throwing them, and Brown was just up against the cage. And he said he heard the ref say, just keep moving, keep moving. You kind of saw, you know, he'd kind of got himself up and finally got himself out of trouble.
Right.
And then, I mean, what a, you know, front kick that, you know, lights out. Congratulations, Travis Brown. And he's a big guy.
6'7".
Yeah, 6'6". I mean, long
6'7".
legs, 6'6", 6'7". Unbelievably big guy. I think, watch out for him.
No, I agree with you.
said it, too.
I do agree with you, and I will say this, man, is like the referee is like the umpire in baseball. You do a great job when no one notices you.
Right.
And I got to tell you something. These referees did a great job in a couple of these fights, and you got to give them some kudos here.
Oh.
I tell you something. Alistair Overeem, you know, as he's hitting him, he's got to be thinking, "Oh my gosh, how much more?
Right.
How much more? How much more?
One more."
But man, the referee did his job. Was continue to talk to him and tell him, "Hey, keep moving, and keep moving." And you know what? He comes back out and he wins that fight. Travis Brown, congratulations.
Absolutely. And finally, the main event, hoo-ha. Shogun hoo-ha versus Chael Sonnen. Chael from his back able to get the submission.
That surprises me, man. I picked Chael, and simply because I thought Chael was going to go down and just grind him out. I thought he was going to take him down, stay real tight, drop some elbows on him, and the fight turns around and Chael submits him. That tells you about mixed martial arts in the UFC. You never know who's going to come out on top, and it can change like that.
I really thought this was Chael's swan song. I really thought he might come out and, you know, have a good showing, whatnot, and say, "Oh, you can catch me in the booth. Thank you all." But he's not. He's not done.
Chael keeps you guessing with everything.
He does. That's why he's an interesting. Yes, absolutely.
He's the guy that you're always second guessing. Is he really training? Is he not training?
Right.
But you know, one thing he did do for this fight is he actually moved. He changed camps. He moved to LA, training with Mark Munoz, and you know what? He's able to train and do TV right now. So now he's actually in a place, instead of trying to stay in Oregon and train and fly back to LA and do TV. Now he's actually staying in LA full time. I think it's a great move for his career. And I think that it's good to change things up for him, because if not, I think you would have been right. I think this might have been on his way out.
On his way, yeah.
But Marco, I got to tell you something. Shogun is like, he's one of those guys you never know, never looks in great shape, but he's a super tough guy. That's a bad matchup for him any which way you slice it, because he's not a great wrestler, and the wrestler usually dictates the fight.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there will be more from Chael going on, for sure.
Chael's going to be in mixed martial arts the rest of his life, and I thoroughly enjoy him no matter what he decides to do.
But he'll be fighting. I mean, at least I would say for the next year, at least.
I hope he goes and fights Vitor Belfort in Brazil, and it goes down with 50,000 crazy Brazilians over there.
That would be a great fight, and one we're definitely looking forward to. Now, some great fights that are coming up Wednesday. How about that? Middle of the week, August 28th, 2013, on Fox Sports 1, UFC Fight Night in Indianapolis. Just a short drive down the road. That's really fun, awesome, especially for Midwest people. Make a trip, and if you don't get to there, I know it's in the middle of the week. Saturday, August 31st, in Milwaukee, UFC 164. That'll be happening. So some great fights happening. And of course, I want to go back. We touched on it in the first segment, but I do want to talk. Now, there is no date or time, but Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald. You're really happy about this fight.
I love the fight.
You called it last week, actually.
I did, but here's the thing: is like, yes, he won. Yes, McDonald won the fight, and he beat Jake Ellenberger. But what he did do is he disappointed the fans, and he also disappointed the UFC. Well, with that being said, you know what? Make him go back out. Make him go earn his title shot, because he's going to fight the winner. He would probably fight the winner of Hendricks and GSP. Now this kind of throws even more of a wrench in it, so the two teammates don't have to fight each other. Now all of a sudden you got to go out and you got to beat Robbie Lawler, who's never easy to beat. And then if he wins that, then Hendricks goes out and beats GSP. Or if he loses to GSP, then you got teammates fighting each other. Okay, I don't want the teammates fighting each other right now. It's a little bit further down the road, and I got to tell you something: McDonald and Lawler, fireworks.
I tell you, it is almost like a little punishment. He says, okay, if you're going to have a bad showing, I don't think you can have a bad showing if you fight Robbie Lawler. Because he's going to chase you down, and he's going to be swinging for the fences.
Yes.
And that's exactly what
we're doing. And he's a great wrestler, which people don't give him credit for.
That's true. The ground game, yeah.
He's a tremendous athlete, and that's the thing. He is a tremendous athlete, and I've said this on numerous occasions. The new mixed martial artists is the great athletes that know how to fight. It's not just straight martial art guys. These are athletes that know how to fight. And I tell you something, Robbie Lawler could be the best athlete in mixed martial arts, even more than George St. Pierre. And people call me crazy when I say that, but I've seen Robbie train. I mean, the guy is a tremendous athlete.
And of course, we're going to have more on his fight coming up with McDonald. coming up with a date and location. I do want to touch on the Wednesday, August 28th fights. Those are free on Fox. Again, no pay. And take a look at this card. Conduit versus Campman. You have Bubba McDaniel from the Ultimate Fighter, as well as Kelvin Gastelum. He's the one I've been waiting to see. He's going against Brian Milcon.
Make a splash.
Yeah, I'm excited for him.
Campman and Condit really, I love it. Stylistically, it's a great fight. They both are great kickboxers, and they both are really good jiu-jitsu players as well. They're very, very underrated jiu-jitsu. I got to tell you something. These are two guys, that are right there. That's a hell of a fight, man. I mean, Joe Silva continues to produce great fights. These are the guys that are the up-and-comers, not just pure headliners.
Right.
These are great fights all the which way through.
Well, they are big names, and like you said, stylistically, it's just going to be great. You got Court McGee, Robert Whitaker. I mean, this is, I can't say this enough. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. Wednesday.
Right.
It's going to be like Wednesday night fights. That's all good stuff. We're going to be tackling that as well as some questions. One you just touched on, the athlete and how they're factoring into mixed martial arts these days. That's coming up in our next segment here on 101sports.com.